Hello everybody, this is NightGhost1400. I decided to make a video about Mar, a map that my friends Wynel and I twins have been working on for a while, and I decided to just make a utility video just because I can. I made 3 smokes. There are 9 T-sided smokes in this video and only 2 CT smokes that you can throw in this video. But I thought it would be interesting to just go through the map for 2 hours and kind of just see what smokes I can throw that can allow us to easier to take a site. Didn't find many retake smokes though, which is unfortunate because was really looking for those. I didn't even think about it, I'll be honest. But I'm gonna go through this map, kind of show you all the lineups that I found, and see if you can make your next Mar playtest a little easier on yourself. I'm also gonna be sending this to Wynel at least, because then he should be able to maybe send that to iTwins. Maybe he can throw little minions when he's detailing. He can maybe add easier ways for these lineups to be implemented into the map. So I'm going to start out with the A site. Honestly, this is the site that took me a lot longer to throw on, because honestly, trying to get smokes to land from this main entrance into there was a lot harder. So let's just start off with your first smoke that I think most of you should get familiar with. You're going to start by getting stuck in this corner, and then you're going to look at the shadow, kind of aim at the very edge of it, and aim in the center. And you're going to do a little jump throw here, and that's going to land perfectly right in the center here, and that's going to make it a lot harder for the middle rotate A connector player, which is very important because A connector and B connector are really important areas that you're going to have, like, you're going to be holding it 1-3-1 on this map. This is going to make it a bit harder for him to contest this box angle here, because this box angle is very hard to contest typically, especially if this A player has an op. You don't really want to be peeking into that, so that smoke is really important to be throwing. Next is to completely eliminate any semblance of hope that this A player has. You're going to get yourself stuck in this corner. You're going to aim at this black bar. We're going to aim slightly to the right, ever so slightly. Do another jump throw here. And what that's going to do is that's going to aim perfectly right there. So now this A connector player is completely cut off from any rotation whatsoever with both of those smokes. He can even push through here, but if he really wants to contest the site, try to get in, he's basically playing a retake unless he flashes through the smoke and goes for a push. This is a dumb idea in any levels of Counter-Strike. The next and third smoke that you're going to throw here is you're going to get yourself shoved into this corner. You're going to aim at this little divot right below this panel, and you're going to aim at the very top right of where this like bar and this divot kind of connect, right there. You're going to do a jump throw, and what this is going to do is it's going to cut off this half of the site. There will be some tiny gaps, especially right there sometimes, but it should be really, what this basically allows you to do as a T is when you're pushing, you can pretty safely clear this side of the map and then clear out this backside position, and even that allows you to even go in for like an insta plant situation where you plant like here or even here, and that since this backside player is completely cut off, you can pretty much swing him and maybe kill him. Maybe if he's playing any of these angles, or even playing back here, or even jumped up here. But even if he is taking this fight and you manage to kill him, then all that's left is that A connector player, and they're going to be put into a retake scenario. Next up is your mid smokes. I got 3 mid smokes for you today. If you throw all 3 of the smokes, that doesn't really guarantee mid control. It's gonna really constrain their mid control. But it's not going to make it impossible to take over mid. So the first thing I want to show you is the easiest lineup I think I'm going to show you. Just get stuck in this corner, you aim up from here until you meet this bar, and you just do a left click throw. That smoke is going to be your B connector smoke. It's a really nice smoke, lands dead center, and allows you to not worry about that B connector for a while, at least until the smoke dissipates. The next smoke you're going to be learning is also really simple. It is kind of a connector smoke, but what it really does is it makes it harder for that A connector player to hold it. Not impossible, just harder. So you're going to line it up with this edge, and you're going to take this edge and go a little bit to the right of the second bar, kind of aim up and do a left click throw. What that's going to do is it's going to land right on top of this thing, and And because that happens, that makes this A connector player who's going to try to peeping mid from this not able to see that A upper, which is normally what you would want to contest as a player, and force him to take this lower angle and lower fight down here, and to fight him like this instead, and basically constrain him to only peeking this angle, which if you're opping on T side and you put your opper up into this mid position, you throw that smoke and you peek out, you're like basically holding until he pushes out, which makes your job a whole lot easier. And if you combine that with his top mid smoke, it really constrains the upper part of their mid defense. This top mid smoke is a bit harder to throw. You basically line yourself up with this cross here, and then you're going to aim slightly to the right of this top corner of this part. You're going to aim slightly to the right. You're going to do another jump throw. That is going to bounce off this pillar right here, and that is going to constrain the opper, because now he has to peek it like this in this awkward position, which is a bit awkward, is a bit one-way, but if you throw a flash like this and then peek out, kind of fire that corner, that in conjunction with that and this top A smoke are going to make it a lot harder and more predictable for their mid defense. You're basically forcing them to take two angles rather than the slew of angles that they wouldn't be able to play before. Like before, you could be able to play this angle, or this angle, or this angle, or this angle, but now you're basically forcing the A connector player to play an angle like this, and you're forcing the top mid player to play an angle like this, which is really pre-fireable and extremely uncomfortable for those players. Now, a little quick tip here. Another thing that you can do as a top mid player is, if you have an op, you can get yourself stuck into this corner and aim right around here, kind of like 3/4 of the way down, right at this box. And when you do that, that lines up perfectly right here at headshot level for a guy who's peeking this top mid position, which it should most of the time kill him. If you can, I don't know the timings for this, but if you can find the perfect timing for that, like just the perfect time to pre-fire, then I think it's a really solid option for you to do. Let me just pick up my M4 here. Now this is actually two quick smokes that you can throw on the CT side, pretty much straight off a spawn. So what you're going to do is you're going to get yourself stuck in this corner. You're going to aim right around this part of the texture where this big black bar is at the very top. You do a jump throw. That smoke is going to land dead center of the T side lower mid area, basically blocking up that entrance. And then if you have a teammate, he can also run up to this car position. He's going to aim three big blocks up and 3 small blocks over. They're around this point. He's going to do a jump throw, and that's your your upper T mid entrance smoke. Cuts that off. If both of you throw that super instantly, then basically the CTs can get quite a bit of mid control here. Basically, if you're going to throw these two smokes, you're going to also want to throw a flash, and then you're going to have like your B connector player and your mid player run out here at the same time, and that should allow your B connector player to instantly jump down into this B connector area, and you'll push up and get some control, maybe play an angle like this for I don't know. It's not really useful to... It's useful to delay, but it's not that useful to push up, because there's not a lot of angles you can get pushed up really relatively safely. Maybe this, but still, you're still going to be in danger. And now your T-side B smokes. These are actually super simple to throw and super easy to memorize. So this is going to be your upper B smoke. Aim just at this big black part of the texture, the dark part of this line. Just aim at the top here, jump throw. That is your upper B smoke. It's going to land cleanly right in the center, allow you to take some map control. This is all these smokes, by the way, I'm throwing for a default. This is your B connector smoke. You're going to aim right at this 4th giant block, aim up till you hit this like peak of the roof, jump throw. It's going to bounce off the skybox, and it's going to completely cut off the B rotate. Especially if you're not preparing for it, that should be the first smoke you throw. Then, for your next smoke, what was the next smoke again? Oh right, the next smoke, super easy. You just get into B main, get yourself stuck into this corner, aim it around the top here, throw that smoke, And then that allows you to cut off the CT angle. And if you combine all three of those smokes, what you're going to do then as a T is you're going to peek out at this headshot this box here. You're going to swing over here, clean out these two cubbies, and then you're going to swing out here, clear CT. This also allows you to kind of plant in this smoke here. And then as like a CT, this is basically what like this kind of defense looks like. Like your rotate's cut off, you're playing this is also cut off, and then you have to like you know, you hear the plant going down, you go like, oh, you gotta fire this, you gotta watch this area for any T pushes. Alright, so I was kind of thinking a little bit about CT retake options. So I was going through the various connectors and going through a couple Molotovs that I think would be very useful for people playing retakes. These connectors. I'm going to start with B connector a little bit here. There are two Molotovs that I really found. Step one is this Molotov should cover the entire area back here. This is a very common spot to hold for a terrorist because of how versatile it is. You can play this position and you're usually pretty safe from upper and CT because most of the time you're going to be having a person holding the angles either here as a position or they're going to be here, which means that they're going to have to clear this angle first, and they're basically like, alright, I'll hold this, and you hold there. Pretty much the general strategy. So, in order to help take care of that angle, what you could do is you can hug it into this corner, same generally around this area here. You can make it up a little bit, and then you kind of want to aim where this line is around up that area. You can just jump through here. It should jump, bounce off this command box and land directly behind the box. This will force an ultimatum for this T. Either he backs up into this corner here and kind of plays super far back off the angle, or he falls into this corner here. Either way, it's going to usually be a more predictable fight since you're going to be here. You can get a couple of bits of good damage here as well. Next up is we're going to try to be Molotoving this cubby back here. This is a pretty common position. Just get a really nice angle off the connector here. And you could also pretty safely peek off into CT, and you can also go over here. Pretty common angle to hold. Plus, you could also watch for any T pushes. It's pretty common for, at least in the places we've experienced. You're going to hug this, you're going to kind of get in this corner here, but you're also going to want to put yourself a little more forward. This is going to allow the molly to go deeper. You're going to kind of want to aim like along this line of the pattern and just kind of do a jump throw towards the bottom. It's going to land super deep into this cubby. And that's going to allow, like, basically no matter where you stand, you're going to take damage inside this cubby. Two pretty good Molotovs. That's kind of, my Molotovs inside is kind of limited though. And I'm going to kind of like, flashes are much easier to throw than Molotovs, so I just kind of want to throw those. However, on A-site connector, A-site is really versatile. With just one or two lineups, you can pretty much Molotov the entire site off. So you're not going to do, this is kind of a risky play because you're going to want to make sure this area is clear. But if you are in fact like the solo A connector holder and they've just smoked this position off, what you can do is you can kind of line yourself up generally around this area with this. And let's say, oh, my teammate has died here and they're getting ready to tease pussy here for a post play. Well, I can just kind of get into this corner here, kind of aim over there, do a jump throw, and that also is going cleanly into that position there. Clearing off, pushing him back over here. Maybe I think, oh, I'm worried about them pushing the smoke and pushing me out there. Well, just kind of get back to this corner again, generally aim along this line to where I think it is, jump throw that, put some Molotov right there, forcing preventing them from pushing any further. That's actually a really solid Molotov if you're like your backside, let's say you're defending the site, because your backside player is like going to be playing over here, so you're peeking, but they throw a smoke down there, and you know they're going to swing from where he has to defend. You can delay them and delay for the rotate by just sitting over here, kind of aiming over there, jump throw, and because of that, that also is going to land there, and they're going to be stuck from pushing this angle over here. If they get the smoke down over there, you could kind of move it over towards here, but if you do that, then they're going to kind of be slowed down, either forced to push through the Molotov so that your player is playing this or over here. Basically, gives them more that time to delay and allows you to fend them off for a little bit while your A side player is doing all that. You can really do a lot from this position here. If you want to maybe go a little bit deeper and cover CT over there, you can back up a little bit with that same thing. Just do a little backing up, another jump throw, and that should cover CT pretty well. If you wanted to aim it pretty much anywhere in sight, say they're doing for a close plant like right here, you can just kind of aim like in this general direction, jump throw, and it should land perfect. That's actually really perfect. Holy crap! Or or we can go a little deeper, back up a little bit, kind of aim the same position to the next jump throw. That's going to cover that, and that's going to cover the default plant for their push. So if they try to go over here, they can't do that, and there's smokes down here, so they got to plant more over here in more of an awkward plant position. Yeah, that's a couple Molotovs that can definitely help you in the retake or to prevent the take. Another couple smokes that I found interesting was that you can get yourself into this corner over here, aim up from this up to where this texture meets. Do a little, actually, you don't even jump through here, my bad. Just stand through. And that will bounce off, and that will cover off this area over here. What that allows you to do is it allows this player, actually this player doesn't get much off of it, but allows you to basically ignore this angle, and it clears you up to, clear these angles more individually. It's a bit of, make your life a little easier. Not the best smoke. I haven't really figured out any other smokes you can combine it with to do the take. Generally, you're only going to not really throw that many smokes on your retake. You're basically going to be like smoking the bomb and using more Molotovs, grenades, and that for the retake. Rather than smoke grenades, mainly you want to be smoking the bomb for your retake. What else do I wish to talk about? There. Okay, I'm going to go through everything that we just talked about completely. Alright, you're taking the site. This corner, here, jump throw. This corner here, jump throw. This corner here, standing throw. And then you're retaking. You're going to want to pretty good over there. CT smokes.
Throwing smoke. Smoke.
I'm not paying attention so much that we don't even pick up bomb. Would you rather be chronically underdressed or overdressed?
Smoke.
Would you rather be half naked than like
Throwing smoke.
no, but then you'd be like really hot all the time.
Laying down smoke.
It's the gingers, man.
Smoke.
Oh, I'm lagging. I see.
Laying down smoke. Throwing smoke.
What? How did that happen? Huh? Okay, hold on. Let's redo that grenade.
Okay. Alright, anyways. Would you rather have everyone use
Laying down smoke.
sauce or everyone
There we go. Maybe I moved a little bit.
Smoke. Throwing fire. Incendiary out. Incendiary.
They're pretty easy to memorize. So you know, you wanna do well in your next Mar playtest, show up a little bit of I-twins. You know, show off your skill. Maybe get a couple kills on Forsaken for once, because you've never killed him ever, because he's literally unkillable. He is a god amongst men,
Incendiary
and
out.
all he has to say about it is ooh cat pictures.
Have universal respect for unlimited
Oh
power.
no, man, he's off angle of the sentry I just found right here. Hey, hold on. Imagine, dude. Imagine. Just like, you peek out and you're like, oh, I know where he's gonna be, and the dude's just right there. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket for the next playtest if that doesn't get fixed. And you know, I hope that none of this stuff here gets fixed, because that would be really sad that all these lineups would be gone that have worked for
Throwing smoke.
like a while on. Please don't do that. That'll be it for me though. See ya, gamers.